this lecture we'll be discussing HTML headings. So HTML headings are titles or subtitles that you want to display on a web page. So for example, heading 1 is the biggest, then comes heading 2, and in HTML there is heading 1 to heading 6. We have already discussed it in the previous lecture, but let us see it again. Now what happens is that the most important heading, the heading 1, is the largest and the biggest, whereas the heading 6 is the smallest and least important heading. So as you can see, it is in in the smallest size, and so this happens. Now you'll have a doubt in your mind that something like H7, is there something like heading 7? Let us check if there is something like heading 7. So if we run this code, so what will happen now, heading 7 will be written in the normal text like how it is written in paragraphs. So only H1 to H6 exists, nothing such as heading 7 exists. So let us now go back, and HTML headings are defined with H1 to H6 tags. H1 defines the most important heading and H6 defines the least important heading. We have discussed this. Now here's a thing to note down, that browsers automatically add some white space, a margin, before and after a heading, right? So headings are important. As you can see, like this line, headings are important. This is a heading in this web page. So what will happen, there is a lot of line spacing between the heading and the text, whereas you can see that in between the paragraph a space is given, right? But it is not as large as the space is in between the heading and paragraph. So it adds some white space, some margin before and after a heading. So why headings are important? Let us discuss that. Search engines use the headings to index the structure and content of your web pages. Users often skim a page by its headings. It is important to use headings to show the document structure. Headings should be used for main headings. For H1 should be used for main heading, then it should be followed by H2 headings, and then less important H3, and so on. Now you should use HTML headings for headings only. Don't use headings to make text big or bold. We'll be seeing how you could style your paragraph, and if you need to do something like big or bold text, you don't need to use heading, because heading is basically for SEO purpose. If somebody is searching for some topic, so he will search by the topic itself. So your topic must be written in the heading and nothing else should be written. Now let us talk about bigger headings. So each HTML heading has a default size. However, you can specify the size for any heading with the style attribute using the CSS font size property. So basically, by using this style element, what you can do, you could change the size of the heading. Let us see that. Now what will happen if we take a normal, let's say H1, and in that it's written heading 1, and let us close H1. Now what will happen? See, this is the standard side of heading 1. But if I want to, customize my heading 1 and I want to make it look bigger, so what I'll use the style attribute. So in attributes, we have discussed there is style, and when we type style, we just have to type font size, font hyphen size, and that should be 60 pixel. So for example, now if I have to, style, we have a, special lecture for this, how to style, but let's just discuss here in brief. Now if I want to make it font size, let us make this 50 pixels. Whatever dimensions, all the dimensions we talk about in website, we talk in pixels. So this is pixel, then you have to put a semicolon and then inverted commas close, and let us now run this code. So see, this is 50 pixels and this was 60 pixels. So we can set the font size according to what we want. So this was the exercise, and this is the exercise, and it asks us that use the correct HTML tag to add a heading with text London, right? So basically it wants us that we should type like something like this, London, and then we should close it, right? So this is the HTML headings. In the next lecture, we'll be discussing HTML paragraphs. So I'll meet you in the next lecture.